Hey guys, it's me Maro, and yeah, I'm a succubus now, what of it. I was told by my actual lawyer that I need to stay in the swarm until December 1st because I didn't meet the numbers from last year, and this year I need to... well, I need to... sex. Well, anyways, did you guys see one of my previous videos? The Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah stop motion? Yeah, after like, what, 6 to nearly 7 years of this channel, I've finally decided to make a Godzilla stop motion. I mean, I was planning on making some sooner, but I didn't, so I'm sorry, okay? Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, or I guess Ghidorah, since people always seem to forget the king in the first part of his name. This rivalry has been raging on for over 60 years, from the Showa era and Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, aka my first ever Godzilla movie, which is kinda cool, all the way up to Godzilla King of the Monsters. However, one of my favorite versions of these two characters actually comes from the Heisei era and Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, which came out in 1991. Apparently a lot of people dislike this movie since it has to deal with time travel and stuff. Well, fuck whatever those people are talking about, because this movie is awesome. See, I never really got to see a lot of the Godzilla movies back then. The only times I caught glimpses of the movies were when it was airing on TV back in the day. I bet a bunch of newer fans didn't really know what it was like since, you know, now we have streaming and a lot more options. So, let me paint a picture for you. It's the year 2012. I am 6 years old at the computer watching a lot of Markiplier videos since I was a big fan of him at the time back then, even before his Five Nights at Freddy's video. I was a pretty big fan of Godzilla back then, but I only watched a couple of the movies. It wasn't until I heard Godzilla's giant roar come from the TV in the living room, he rose out of the water looking meaner than ever, and it was the first time I ever saw the Heisei Godzilla design. And then after that, King Ghidorah landed on the ground and the two of them started to battle, and it was insane. I was instantly hooked to the screen, and because it was a Godzilla movie on a larger screen than the family computer, of course I'm gonna love it. The best way I could describe it is like, you know how kids are nowadays with their iPads, you know, all that? Kids glued to their iPads? Me glued to the TV watching Godzilla movies. Although I did actually, you know, go outside or, you know, play with other toys. I didn't just watch stuff. Anyways, after watching Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, or at least half of it, the two designs of the movie became my absolute favorite designs of the two of them. Whenever I thought about Godzilla, I thought about this movie. And whenever I thought about King Ghidorah, I also thought about this movie. But this video is not about the movie, it's more about the characters and a special thing about them. So, like, I want a figure of these guys, so I'm just in the process of editing this video right now, and I just realized, my pronunciation here is, I wanted figure of these guys. I wanted figure of these guys. Are you serious? Shut the fuck up, Maro. And, yeah, the SH Monsterheads figures were out of my budget. I was 6 at the time, shut up. So sadly, I never really got any, like, articulated figures of these two. I did have the NECA figure of 91, or I guess Heisei in general. And I got, I think it was the GMK Bandai figure. So, like, yeah, but I never really got, like, any of the... Wait, what? I'm sorry, what? No! This is just a dream. This is just a dream. No. You're not, what the fuck? As soon as I saw that Hiya Toys were making these two figures, specifically these two, I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. I came all over my room. The Hiya Toys Godzilla and Hiya Toys King Ghidorah from Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. Oh man, this review is a long time coming. It's a long time awaited, man. These figures were shown quite some time ago, and man, I just wanted them so badly. My favorite designs of these two characters put into affordable figure form. Yes, please! So yeah, today I will be reviewing the Godzilla and Ghidorah figures from Hiya Toys, you know, from Godzilla, whatever. Let's get started. And, wait a second, who are these guys again? Even though I semi-talked about the movie, let me go over the background between these two characters since, yeah, I love them. Basically, Godzilla was a problem in Japan, so in order to get rid of him, humans go back into the past and remove Godzilla from Oto Island. This is when Godzilla was just a dinosaur. And, you know, they move him so he doesn't get hit by the nuke and, you know, mutate into what he is right now. However, 3 little Dorats were accidentally left onto the island. And then when the atom bomb hit, they all turn into King Ghidorah, the 3-headed golden dragon of death. He couldn't be stopped by the military, and he seemed to be almost unstoppable. And the only way it seemed that he would be defeated was by Godzilla. But, there's a bit of a problem there. However, just because Godzilla was moved from Oto Island does not mean he was safe from being mutated. Yeah, he came back, and now he's way bigger, stronger, and more dangerous, and he's here to stop King Ghidorah in order to save the world. Well, until he destroys Japan and then Mecha King Ghidorah shows up. Basically, these two are rivals for each other in this movie. If one of them gets defeated, the other will destroy Japan. An ever long-lasting battle that kinda ends. But yeah, that's about it for these characters. You know, they're really cool, and I love them, and they're really good iterations of the characters. And, yeah. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's now move on to the review and start with the box of these two. And, wow.
Yes, I know there's shit in the way, but shut up. I'm in my dorm right now. Don't worry about that. I'm in my dorm right now. I don't have room for these damn boxes just because they're so big. It's just...
The boxes for these two figures are really cool looking. First, we got the smaller one for Godzilla. It's a simple design with simple coloring, and you'd probably expect me to say that it's just alright. Well, listen. A simple design doesn't automatically mean bad, because this box is actually so awesome. The pose they use for Godzilla makes it look like he's coming from the shadows forward into the camera, and with this dark brown coloring, it makes it feel like the tone that was in Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. Also, this slash right here is a nice touch. Although I do feel like it may have been taken from the idea of Monster Arts with, like, you know, their slash effect, but I don't care. This is 91 Godzilla we're talking about. And then we move on to King Ghidorah. And before anything, can I just... This box is huge. Compared to Godzilla's box, it towers over it. The design of this box is pretty neat as well. You got Ghidorah flying around and shooting his gravity beams, and it looks cool. Although, I do have one little problem with this box, and it's, well, I'll talk about it later. But yeah, these two boxes look great. Probably my favorite Hiya has made so far. However, this is a figure review, so let's throw these boxes out the window and bring in our two monsters and... Oh my body! Okay, I forgot. Because it's Halloween. My body's a lot more sensitive. I'm sorry. Okay, alright. Okay. I think I'm good now. Okay, we're good. Holy shit, they look amazing. These two figures is how I would imagine it to be if I were to just take something out of the screen and just put it in my hands. Like, they're that good looking. First, let's start with Godzilla and look at his sculpting. This right here is the general look for the Heisei Godzilla, all the way up to Burning Godzilla and Godzilla vs. Destroya. Well, okay, there are some slight differences here and there, but let's be honest, let's just be for real. It's the same design. Let's start at the head and work our way down. The head looks incredible. The head on Godzilla in the Heisei era is such an iconic look for him. He has a lot more exaggerated proportions here compared to the legendary designs I've looked at in some past reviews. He's also a lot meaner looking with larger eyebrows, and he has a puffier snout. It kinda has a cat-like look to it. I don't know, it just kinda looks like one. His jaw is a lot slimmer than before, but opening it up gives us a lot more detail. You got his tongue, which is not too noticeable at first, and you also got his teeth. Which, fun fact about Godzilla's teeth in the Heisei era, if you look closely, you can actually see that he has 2 rows of teeth, not just 1. So he's kinda like, Freddy Fazbear. Moving down the body, we then get to his boobies. We got the chest. It's pretty big and kind of fat looking, which is pretty accurate to the suit. I'm really glad they got his triple chest thing here since it was a big thing in making him look pretty buff. The arms are very good looking, and over them you can see that Hiya even implemented a wrinkle effect here, making it look so much more authentic to the suit. We see a similar story with the legs and waist, but I wanted to quickly mention the waist, and it's mainly because it's made out of a semi-rubber material. And well, that's kinda how the suits were made. It was made out of rubber. Hiya made great choices here.
I forgot to say that his legs look good.
The spines on the back that go all the way to the end of the tail look very accurate. They look almost like stone here, which is a great way of making them look big. And finally, we got the tail, which is super long, like holy shit. I'll save it for the articulation, but each segment here is a separate piece, which makes it look super natural. Overall, the sculpting on this figure is actually insane. Once again, they just took the actual suit out of the movie and put it in my hands. Like, I don't know how they did it, but oh my god, they did it. For the paint here, there's a couple things I want to look over. First, the entire body is covered in this concrete gay color, and it's... Oh, wait, hold on, I'm sorry. First, the entire body is covered in this concrete gay color? Huh? First, the entire body is covered in this concrete gray color, and just like the suit, there's no shading on here. Which, you know, it does make it look a little uncanny next to some of your other figures, but it's movie accurate, so yeah. The only type of lighting you will get here is just the light reflecting off the body, which is pretty neat. The spines have this bone white color to them that goes all the way down to the tail, which is nice to add some color difference to the figure. The claws and nails are painted in this dirty bone color, which is nice. And then we go up to the head. The head doesn't have much color on it at first, however, if we look at the eyes, you'll see that they are beautifully painted. I know I said the Skullcrawler had one of the best eyes, but today you are seeing the actual best eyes. Although it wasn't originally like this, because you see, this is actually not the original head for this figure. Is it a custom or a paint job someone else did? Well, no, actually. You see, the head actually originally looked like this, with the eyes being way more simple looking, and there was a bit of controversy around it. I swear to God, there's so many controversies with Hiya figures. Because of people not liking the head originally, Hiya made a completely new one. Well, completely new one is kind of eh. Basically, all they did was change the eyes, and honestly, I can't lie, it looks way better. People saying it still looks bad can actually go kill themselves. If we open up the mouth, we got red for the tongue and a bone white color for the teeth, in which the teeth are painted absolutely beautifully here. Overall, the paint on Godzilla here is, like I said before, absolutely insane. Combining all the design things on here, it's 100% movie accurate. This is honestly one of, if not the best looking Godzilla figures I have ever seen in my life. But, let's add even more onto that by looking at his rival, King Ghidorah. Jesus Christ, where do I even start with this? First, let's look at the head. Or heads in this case. Holy shit, they are evil looking. Again, I don't know how Hiya did it, but it looks so accurate to the suit, like oh my god. Also, comparing these heads with the 2019 Ghidorah heads, you could just see the big difference between them. For better or for the worse. Moving down, we got the necks, which again, look very accurate. This is where we get shown the texture of this figure, in which it's got all these scales all over the entire figure. It gives a very nice feel once you start messing around with it. On the back of the necks, we got some spikes, which look very, very good. However, they are pretty sharp, so please be careful. Moving more down, we got the body, and once again, it's got all these scales all over them, but also, like, it's very fat. His body is all plump and big, just like in the movie. And then we got the legs, and they look pretty decent. Once again, they're pretty big and fat looking, but his feet here are sculpted very nicely. At first, I thought it was just a reused Godzilla foot, but no, I'm wrong. It's actually an entirely new foot. Moving back, we got the tails, and man, I wish my thing was this big. Actually, wait, that doesn't make any sense. These tails are so fucking long, dude! And just like Godzilla, each segment here is a separate sculpted piece. And on the end of them, you got this buzzsaw-like club at the end. Yeah, very nice looking. Final thing to look over are the wings, and my god, they look amazing. They are very big and monstrous looking. And hell, they even got all these little mini lines in the wings correctly. Thankfully, because it's made out of a softer plastic, they will not break on you anytime soon. Well, at least, for the most part. Overall, the sculpt on this guy is amazing. He is such a big figure with so much detail on him, and honestly, he is probably the heaviest figure in my collection so far. Like, he's made out of so much material. But now, let's look over the paint on King Ghidorah. Almost the entire figure is covered in this vibrant gold color, which makes him pop so much more in comparison to other figures. It's just so good looking. One tactic I appreciate that they kept from the suit to here is that even though the color on the wings and the body is the same, because there's so much more detail on the body, the wings appear brighter than the body, a very nice touch I always liked on the actual suit. The heads also have a tiny bit of paint on them. First, the eyes are... okay, fine, you get in first place with Godzilla. These eyes are absolutely fantastic!
Say that again?
I like how they kept that almost dead expression King Ghidorah had in the movie, because honestly, out of the two of them, Godzilla looks more angry in comparison. On the inside of the mouth, we got the same bone white color for the teeth, and a very nice red paint for the mouth, making this guy look overall so damn good. When we bring both of them together, they look absolutely perfect. Again, I've mentioned it before, but these two were literally just taken out of the movie and put into figure form. Like, they're that good looking. I especially love how different they look in comparison to other Hiya figures, but we'll cover that more when we get into the size comparisons. You can most likely recreate any pose or scene from the movie with these two, they just look that good. But let's actually put that to the test and see how well they move. In other words, it's time for the articulation. First, let's start with Godzilla. His head is on a ball joint, the mouth can open, and... Okay, that's kind of disappointing. Yeah, as weird as it looks, this is as far as his mouth can open. Kinda lame. Also, I never covered this in the sculpting section, but on the inside of the mouth, you can kind of see there's a little indent at the top. And if you're wondering what that is, I'll go over it in a second. Anyways, the tongue can... The neck is on 2 more ball joints, which means that he has a very wide range of movement with his head. He can look straight up, down, and all around. The arms are on a ball joint, which actually has a lot more movement than I originally thought. They can move out at 90 degrees and rotate all around. The bicep is on a ball joint, and the elbow is on another ball joint. And finally, the hands are on 2 ball joints, which means that he can get his arms to do a shit ton of crazy work. His body is on 1 big ball joint, which again has a wide range of movements, and thankfully due to this rubber part right here, it moves naturally with it. Sadly, no movable spine like with Evolved Godzilla, but it's okay. The leg is on 1 big ball joint, which, yeah, just do yoga at that point. A double bend at the knee, and finally a ball joint at the foot, and also a foot pivot. This foot is actually a bit more articulated than this one, which kind of bugs me a bit. So overall, the posability on this figure is... Oh, wait, hold on. Oh my god, wait a minute. The tail on this figure is actually insane. I counted 24 different segments, and honestly, maybe 20 of them have different ball joints. At first, that might seem kind of meh, but if I just start moving this, holy hell! The tail isn't loose or anything like that, so no matter what you do with this tail, it will not fail on you. Look at this shit! This is SH Monster Arts level of posability, and overall, like, the overall posability on Godzilla here is so good that I even say that it's probably better than an SH Monster Arts. I know SH usually wins with the amount of articulation, but then again, there are some problems with the amount of joints on them. But with here, I mean, the joints are so sturdy that they not only do as much as an SH Monster Arts can, but the durability also seems to be way better. This guy can get into so many poses that, honestly, this might be the most posable figure I have ever held in my hands. But wait a minute, King Ghidorah has just landed to destroy the world! That's all I got for transitioning into the King Ghidorah segment. So King Ghidorah's articulation is, he might be here for a while. First, the mouth can open and the tongue can move. It's a bit hard to do since you gotta, like, get it out of there and... Okay, yeah, there we go. Pretty cool looking. Each neck is on 10 to 11 ball joints, and because they use a similar system to Godzilla's tail, they go so crazy! The body is on 1 big ball joint, which, in all honesty, doesn't have that much range. I mean, you can still do something with it, but it's not anything crazy or anything like that. Then we go to the legs, in which the thigh is on a ball joint, there's a double bend at the knee, a ball joint at the calf thing, and finally a ball joint at the foot. Combined together, you can get some insane movement with just the legs alone. The legs are also strong enough to easily keep up the figure, which is pretty cool. Then there's the tails, and they're on a ball joint, a ball joint, a ball joint, a ball joint, 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 ball joint. Each tail has 15 segments and around 15 ball joints, and this segment right here connects the 2 tails together. Because the tails are super long and have a lot of space to move around, they can get into very natural and curvy poses, which is very cool. Although since the material of this figure is different from Godzilla, we can't get anything like this, which is a little sad, but it's alright. Final thing to look over are the wings. At the base, they're on a hinge joint right here, which is kinda stiff, so be careful. Then we actually get to the wings, and it should be kinda obvious, but they're made in a different way compared to the Monstrous Ghidorah wings. Instead of having multiple segments that clip together, it's one giant piece of the softer plastic. However, the big difference is that the wings, they can actually move via bendy wire in this finger right here, which means that you can basically get them to do anything. However, because this figure does use a bendy wire in the wings, I have to mention the obvious thing. Like I said in my Skullcrawler review, bendy wires have a bit of a tendency to break after a long time of use, and even though the wires on the inside of the wings feel pretty strong here, I say you should still be cautious when moving them. One wrong move, and you'll have him look like his fight after he had with Godzilla. So yeah, overall, the posability on Ghidorah is actually insane. I especially love the articulation in the necks because they're so expressive and honestly, they can do just about anything. My only main issue is the wings, but even then, the articulation on the wings is good, and overall, the articulation is amazing. If we bring both Godzilla and King Ghidorah back together and pose the two of them, you can recreate so many goddamn poses from the movie. And you can even do some crazier poses that weren't even in the movie. You can even recreate the poster for the movie, and it's just, oh my god, Hiya Toys, you fucking did it again! Ah! So, yeah, let's just get it over with. Accessories! First let's start with Godzilla. So Godzilla here comes with a few things. And they are... Man, fuck you, Hiya Toys! Godzilla comes with 2 extra pairs of hands. And the only difference is that the claws are more... slapping? It's cool, I guess, but like... Come on, where are the buildings? Where's the military to fight? And what about the beam effect? Well, actually, there was a second version of this figure that just came out, and it's got a beam effect along with transparent blue spines, which looks really cool.
But, Maro, actually, Godzilla's spines never glow blue when he shines a beam, so technically, it's accurate.
Guys, let's give it up to SH Monsters, guys. Woo, yeah. All that money wasted on stuff that belongs in a landfill. I was actually getting to that. Godzilla here. This figure. You can do one more thing with his head. So yeah, I already looked over his other head, but one thing that I only glanced over just a tiny bit is this little indent here. This little indent here is actually compatible with the Atomic Breath accessory in the Atomic Breath figure. So if you wanted to, you can have your normal Godzilla figure do the Atomic Breath.
It's actually the charging up version. What's the problem?
Yeah, so overall, I'm not too mad about the lack of accessories, but come on, Hiya. You need to work on giving your figures more things to come with. Again, buildings would be cool, or even trees. But, I don't know. But hey, I don't think it can get worse from here, so let's look at King Ghidorah's accessory. What? Does he actually come with nothing? Okay, alright, now I'm mad. Hiya! I love you and all. I gave you my consent. But come on, man. If you're gonna put it on the box like it's in person, add the damn gravity beams! There is literally no color change when he shoots his gravity beams at Godzilla in the movie. There's no change at all. At least with Godzilla, I get it, because, like, okay, his spine's glow and all, but here, there's actually no excuse. Well, okay, maybe, just maybe, these idiots decide to put the gravity beams with any other version of King Ghidorah they made. I mean, hell, one of them is literally called the battle damage version, as in it was in a battle where it shot its gravity beams. And then we got Mecha King Ghidorah, who has different colored gravity beams. So, like, at least one of them has to come with gravity beams, right? Right? Yeah, no, this is dumb, and I'm not happy here. I guess buildings are too expensive, sure, but his attack that you have on the box is also too expensive?
Well, what if you use the gravity beams from the Monster vs. Ghidorah figure,
Oh, yeah, actually, here, let me do that real quick. Oh, wait a minute. I don't have that figure! Bad. Legit bad. Hiya, you're a bad boy. But hey, at least this is the only bad thing about this figure. Alright? Got that covered? Alright, let's continue. So after that whole shitfest, it's time we move on to the size comparisons with these two figures. And before I actually compare them with other figures in my collection, let's see how they look next to each other. God damn, they look awesome. King Ghidorah towers over Godzilla like in the movie, and for the most part, the size is very accurate. However, there is one little detail here that I've been wanting to save for this moment, and it's actually kind of a weird choice on Hiya's end. Putting Godzilla and Ghidorah next to each other, they look very good. But if we look specifically at the heads, you'll see that King Ghidorah's heads is very big in comparison to Godzilla's. And yes, King Ghidorah's heads were big in the movie, but the size of them here are way too big. My first thought was that maybe they wanted to fit some more detail into the figure by making it larger, but I have a lot of Hiya Toys figures with smaller heads, and good detail all around. So, it's a bit strange, but thankfully, it's not as bad as something like this, so I can say that for sure. Here they are next to the Neander's Nendroid, the Hiya Toy Skullcrawler, the SH Figure Arts Guts Berserker Armor, and finally, here they are next to the Hiya Toys Godzilla 2014. Last thing to look over is the price, and the two of them will cost you about $150. $50 for Godzilla, and $100 for King Ghidorah. Compared to all other Hiya figures I have in my collection, these two are honestly way too worth the price. I mean, the amount of upgrades in the Heisei Godzilla figure here compared to 2019 is actually crazy. Meanwhile, they're the same price. And with Heisei King Ghidorah, it's actually cheaper than the Monsterverse Ghidorah. Wait, what? Even though the Heisei Ghidorah has a lot more articulation and materials. Now see, this is what I'm talking about. This is what we need as Godzilla fans. Absolutely amazing figures for only the price of one President Grant. Meanwhile, SH figures are literally the price of the President. But, here's the cool thing. I actually did not buy these figures myself, because these two figures were actually gifts for me. Gifts for my birthday. Because you guys remember my birthday, right? The King Ghidorah figure was bought by my mom, and I'm still so surprised she did that, to be honest. And Godzilla was bought by, well, not a family member, but one of my great friends, IndonumDalien. IndonumDalien, like Gojira Films and Chucher, has been in a few of my videos in the past, and I have been featured in a couple of his videos. It's actually kind of funny, this video right here, it's got all four of us in it. He has been one of my best friends along with everyone else for so many years, and as soon as the Hiya Heisei Godzilla was shown and it was about to come out soon, he wanted to get me this figure as a gift for me, since he knew it was my favorite Godzilla design and my birthday was coming up. This figure is honestly something I can only dream of having, since I for the longest time wanted the SH figures, but you know, they were too expensive. But now I finally have this in my hands along with this, and I am so happy. I honestly cannot express how happy I am that I have this figure in my collection, and it's all thanks to Dalien. And since this figure was a gift from me, and is also small enough to fit in my dorm, now we can have Gojira Films, Chucher, and IndonumDalien all square off against each other in a free-for-all, which just looks so awesome. Oh, also yes, I did return the favor, and I also did get them things as well. But that doesn't matter. But yeah, thank you so much, IndonumDalien, for this amazing gift and making this video possible. And you all watching right now, you better go check him out, because if you don't, I'm going to kill you, and I'm going to kill you again. But why stop there? I also have to give a huge thanks to my mom. What, you don't think I love my mom? Fuck you. She got me the Heisei King Ghidorah figure, so technically she is responsible for making this video possible. This figure, along with Godzilla, is something I can only dream of getting. But now the time has come, and I finally have both of them with me. I am a happy man. So overall, my thoughts on these figures should be clear as the nighttime sky. These figures are actually so amazing. Back when I was a kid, I used to like watching videos of the SH Monster Arts Godzilla and King Ghidorah figures, whether it be in reviews or fight each other. In my mind, I just thought they were the coolest thing ever. However, many years passed and the chances to get the figures dwindled down to basically impossible. But now that Hiya Toys has entered the picture and has given us fans a chance to have these great Godzilla figures we've always wanted, it's just so awesome. And while these two figures are obviously not perfect by any means, the fact that there is more room to improve what is already close to perfection is actually mind-blowing. And seeing some of Hiya's new figures, such as the Monsterverse Titans like Behemoth and Scylla, or even Tiamat, Monster X, some of the Toho Godzillas like GMK 2000 SOS, and a Hiya Toys Kiryu? Oh my god, dude. These next few years are going to be so insane and so fun for us all. So yeah, I give the Hiya Toys Godzilla 1991 a 9 out of 10, and the Hiya Toys King Ghidorah 1991 an 8 out of 10. They are such amazing figures, and I highly recommend picking them up if you are a fan of Godzilla. Well, that's about it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Once again, I have to give a huge thanks to Dalien for gifting me the Godzilla figure, because, you know, if it wasn't for him, you wouldn't be watching this video right now. Be sure to go check him out, since he has a lot of awesome content on his channel. And I have seen some behind-the-scenes footage for some of his future projects, and honestly, you guys are in for a treat. So definitely go check him out. Until then, though, thank you all for watching and sticking around, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you later.